what happens if I do not train my dog?
So there's a lot of things that happen if you do not train your dog. I actually got a pretty serious phone call from a pretty serious phone call from my office manager from Gerda yesterday about a family that was reaching out to us, and I just got to tell you the situation that this family was in. They had one of these giant breed dogs, and the giant breed dog was about 3.5 years old. And the thing that had happened is that dog now, so giant breed dog, there's a man and his wife. I don't know if there was any children involved. I don't believe so. But now the husband was leaving to go to work, and I'm making the assumption that the husband was leaving for several days and wouldn't be there, and then actually had to deal and then the wife had to deal with this giant breed dog, 3.5 years old, and essentially every time she went to see this dog that weighed more than her, he was growling and lunging, and her personal safety was really at risk. And so, what's at stake if you don't train your dog? What had happened in this particular circumstance is that this giant breed dog, 3.5 years old, was now coming after the wife because the husband had done all of the training up to that point. And now these folks are reaching out for help. They're afraid. And unfortunately, these folks were outside of my service area. But really at this point, I'm like, what do you do when you have a dog that's physically larger? You're going to have to tell the dog that you can't treat me like that. You're literally talking about getting into a fight with the dog. Mm-hmm. And how are you going to deal with that? So, look, for all you guys that may own larger breed dogs or giant breed dogs, it's okay to put training off for a little bit. You know, I see it all the time. It's not too late to train your dog. But if you have one of these dogs and you're starting to see that they're not necessarily listening to you, they're not necessarily respecting the boundaries that you're setting, then I got to tell you, you should really get started with any dog before they're 1 year old. But I definitely recommend starting before they're 6 months old because there's a lot of advantages to do that. So the risk that you're running is now this particular family is in a situation where the dog's life is at risk because if they can't find somebody, then the dog may attack the woman. If it does that, the woman could be in stake for bodily harm or be killed herself by a dog because that stuff does happen and obviously it's very scary. But then the other thing that could happen is that maybe the human relationships, maybe they decide to separate because they didn't end up training the dog. Now, these are some pretty extreme situations, no doubt. But I'm telling you that if you decide to get any of these really giant breeds or very powerful dogs like, my German Shepherds, if you get something like that and you don't go through the process of learning how to lead those dogs, it can really, set up some very dangerous situations for you. So please, 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 if you're watching this and you have a giant breed or a large breed dog and you need help, I would love to help you to train your dog, even if it's for free, because, we're putting out a ton of resources. But please do yourself the favor and don't allow yourself to get into the circumstance where your dog is now extremely dangerous and you don't know what to do, and where you feel that your personal safety is at risk. So please reach out, and if you have to, just one more thought. If you have to, send that dog off to a board and train situation where you're also going to get trained by the trainer to be able to help you to overcome those issues. But yes, reach out for help if that's you.